Scott, I mean, does what Elon Musk is doing make sense to you in terms of the stuff with Doge and working in these agencies?
Well, it doesn't make sense from its stated goal of saving money. The Wall Street Journal came out with an analysis yesterday that said it's not going to be 60 billion in savings, that the real number is 2.7 billion. Elon Musk has taken $15 billion in subsidies and direct grants from the federal government. So just the numbers here just don't add up. It's strategically quite elegant in that I believe Doge and all the outrage over it and all of the kind of media attention is essentially a weapon of mass distraction, trying to get the American public to look away from the fact that the Trump tax cuts would add $900 billion a year in deficits.
Do you think that's working?
Unfortunately, I think it is. I think a lot of Americans have suffered or have gotten one of those emails saying your phone is being turned off, please clear out your desk. The corporate world is full of injustice and firings. That's part of capitalism. So I think the Democrats would be better messaging around the incompetence and the misdirect as opposed to the injustice here.
How long do you think this relationship between Musk and Trump will go on for?
You know, I just have no idea. I think what this represents is something scarier, and that is, the reality is, Anderson, is that these cuts won't affect you or me. We're blessed, we're lucky, we're good at what we do, and as a result, we're wealthy. And in a capitalist society, the wealthy have access to rights. Anyone in my life will have access to rights, mesophestron, lawyers, if anyone comes for them. If things get scary in the United States, if we continue to kind of have these bricks of fascism be laid, and the mortars and difference among the wealthiest and most powerful, because the reality is you can buy rights with wealth. And when we have the wealthiest man in the world who probably swung the election, it's just more evidence that people's rights are a function of their wealth, no longer living in America or the Constitution. So my fear is that the wealthiest among us have this sort of unholy alliance where we're not really speaking up in a full-throated way. We're showing up to the inauguration. We're giving $1 million to the inauguration committee under the auspices of shareholder value, not recognizing, yeah, those people are going to be fine. The wealthy are going to be fine. They can move to Dubai. They can buy rights. Their kids are going to be fine. Their kids are going to always have a certain level of democracy. What we need is a series of class traders amongst the wealthiest who realize that the very American ideals that gave them so much prosperity, that gave them so much wealth, are severely under threat right now. I think it is incredibly embarrassing that we have this domino of cowardice among the wealthiest, especially in tech, who've decided not to say anything because they have gone into ChatGPT and uploaded their W-2s and realized that the tax cuts are going to be enormously beneficial for them. It is time for the wealthiest who control this government and who have access to Donald Trump to realize that what got them here were American values that are severely under threat. And I apologize for being so preachy, but I think there is a complicitness among the wealthiest in America who are complaining under their breath, but not really standing up, as evidenced by being paraded at his inauguration. Apple stock doesn't need to go higher. Bezos doesn't need any more yachts or people dancing around in thongs on his goddamn deck. On his deathbed, he's not going to regret being worth 90 billion versus 120. He's going to regret not standing up for American values.
Last time we talked, you spoke of a growing kleptocracy. Have you seen any signs of that slowing? Because I don't think I have.
Amazon is paying $41 million for the Melania Trump biography, and about 28 million is going directly to their bank account. You have Linda Yaccarino has decided to threaten IPG and Omnicom with government retribution to get in the way of their merger if they don't advertise on her platform. This is not only a kleptocracy, but it's reminiscent of early 30s where industry basically entered into this alliance with the leader at that time, Adolf Hitler, who said, I will bust the unions if you give me money. There not only needs to be a separation of church and state, there needs to be a separation of state and business. And what we see is the most powerful people in business are bending a knee and giving in to this ridiculous pressure where they've said, okay, the incentives are to bribe this guy, kiss his ass, engage in this type of one-sided support, and he will give me money.
Scott, you're really depressing me, man. Is there any?
Sorry, Anderson.
I know. Listen, I mean,
Let's talk about what could go right.
What
This
could
is the
go
time
right?
to rise up. Well, I'd like to think that the people, it takes more. If you're in Europe on a boat partying, and you might be with people in the Gulf, you might be with people from, you might be with tech brothers, you might be with oligarchs from Russia, and you're fine. But if there aren't class traders, if there aren't people who speak up from big tech and the most powerful business people who are now responsible for 2/3 of our economy and say, I am not going to engage in this type of kleptocracy, this type of pressure. I'm not going to engage in this. Enough already. Yeah, your share price might go down. You might be worth less, but I would like to think that Americans are sort of sitting in these town halls. I'd like to think that people are recognizing that a tax cut for the rich, such that people in the greatest level of need get their medical benefits cut, that is a trade we did not sign up for. And I'd like to see, we are seeing signs of people saying, enough already, this is not what we bargained for. Republicans and Democrats don't need to come together, they need to come to the rescue.
Scott Galloway, appreciate your time. Thank you.